going on, guys? My name is Armored Rose. Thank you guys so much for stopping by as always. And today we are going to be talking about retro emulation handhelds. This is going to be kind of a beginner's buyer guide pretty much. I'm going to kind of point people in the right direction with this. I'm going to give some recommendations. I'm going to give some recommendations on what companies I think you should go for, use cases, handhelds, a bunch of other stuff and more. But I have to say at the beginning of this video, this is my own opinion. Everything in this video is fair use, and everything in this video is public knowledge. That'll come into play a little bit later in the video. You'll see. I have to make that very clear and get that out of the way first. But if you are someone that is wanting to get into this hobby, I have got to give you a warning. Do not buy systems like this. Okay? This was a system I found online for $5. I bought it at a flea market for $30, not knowing any better. When, again, I could have spent that $30 on some of these other devices and had a much, much better experience. Okay? Devices like these, when people resell them, they mark them up for an insane high price, make a bunch of profit off of someone else's like labor, work, everything. Which is why I'm going to be making this video. Plain and simple, I had this happen to me and another friend who bought this right here. This was the end of the line, the last fucking straw. This is the Pocket Console. This is not their device. Okay, any TikTok, any YouTube video that you have seen that says they have claimed to be the inventor of these devices, I can guarantee are not inventors of these devices. They are buying them from China and then reselling them here in the US. Okay? And plain and simple, you shouldn't go for these. Okay? I had my friend buy a Pocket Console. He bought the Elite one too. Okay? If you go on their website and buy the Pocket Console Elite right now, it's gonna run you $250 fucking dollars. Okay, well that's not that bad. You know, it comes with all these games, whatever, you know, whatever. It's not their device. Okay, these people are upselling you this device. Okay, you are paying more money for this device because, again, it's a Chinese bought product. They're reselling it here in the US. You can buy this device, okay, that goes for $250 on the actual manufacturer's website for $70 US. $250? $70. Granted, yes, that's on sale, but if you even go off by the MSRP here, it's $100. You're spending $150 extra on this device. It's crazy. That's more than half. You're not more than half, sorry. You're doubling the price at this point, more than that. Okay, the original Pocket Console here, this first one, this one here, if you go on their website, okay, you scroll, let me see if I can find it here real quick. Oh, right there, right here it is. It's the RGB 20S, okay? It's $50 on their website, and you're paying $100. If you go on their website here, you're paying $100, and on Powkitty's website, it's $50. You are overpaying for these systems. Same thing with these TikToks. You know, granted, if they link to TikTok Shop, I would compare the prices with other sellers. But a lot of these people are either getting affiliate links or they're starting up their own websites and reselling them. Please do your research. This one here is the K36, I believe. If you go through the comments, you should be able to see like someone saying about it or whatever. Granted, a lot of these people do delete comments because they don't want, you know, to affect their business. Scam artists is more like it. Or ones like this one here. This one here, okay, is the R36S, which is currently on sale for $23 on AliExpress. Okay, some people don't trust AliExpress, but these are all Chinese-based systems anyway. But again, $23 on AliExpress right now. Okay, and you know, it's crazy. You can usually find the R36S for around $40 off sale. Okay, so about $40 is the range for the R36S. These websites, you'll be paying about $100. I've seen $100, $200 for these. Again, avoid it, please. Please avoid these. Okay, they're drop shipped. You're gonna be overpaying. They are good devices. If you're someone that has bought in these, okay, if you've bought in this device, okay, if you bought the Pocket console from their website, they're good devices, but they're not theirs, and you're gonna be you're gonna be paying more money, almost double if not more, than just buying it off of there. So please, I urge you to do your research, which is why I'm going to recommend a couple YouTube channels that make reviews on retro emulation handhelds that are fairly trustworthy. First one is Retro Game Core. Love this dude's content. He has a bunch of videos, 701. Damn. And a lot of in-depth reviews about emulation handhelds, just emulation and retro gaming in general. Recommend this dude, has great production quality. Again, really, really good channel. Second channel I'm going to recommend here is Taki Udon. Really like this dude's channel. Is very similar to Retro Game Core, but does cover a lot more obscure stuff like modding consoles and again using like a phone and controller and stuff like that. Again, like this dude's channel, really good channel. Last channel I'm gonna recommend is Tech Dream. This dude's funny as hell and has really entertaining content. I think out of all of three of these, his is the most entertaining. Not as in-depth, but more importantly, all three of these guys are trustworthy. They're not gonna try to sell you a product that's double, triple, quadruple the price. Again, all very trustworthy sources. I recommend. Okay, so now that I've told you ones not to buy, let's go ahead and jump into some that I think you should buy. And we're gonna talk about brands. First brand I'm gonna recommend is Ambernick. If I had to recommend one brand out of all of these other brands that you should go with for variety, for just different like play styles, form factors, it would be Ambernick. They have ones in like the Game Boy style. They've got micro handhelds that you can put on your keychain. They have vertical handhelds, or not vertical, horizontal, sorry. Kind of like the GBA, for example. They have ones like the GBA SP, and all of these are great systems. All of these are great systems, highly recommend. They can be fairly in the middle, I'd say, decent mid-range-ish. Most of their devices right now are on sale, but you can usually find them around $60 to $80 US. All right, we're going off of US currency here. For me, if I had to recommend one of these handhelds that they sell, okay, because they do sell a lot, they have the biggest variety, right? So like say you want to play GameCube, for example, okay, a fairly decent, system to run. You're gonna have to pay a little bit more, but they have systems that can run like GameCube, for example, like the RG406H. Okay, they're gonna be expensive, and you have like things like this one here, the RG406V. It's on sale. This can run stuff like GameCube. Again, it's why it's important you do your own research on these devices, but they do have the best variety. But if you don't want to play things like GameCube, you just want to play things like, say, some Sega Genesis, maybe some Super Nintendo, maybe some, PS1, I'd go for something like the RG35XXH here. It's a lot more comfortable. You get the dual thumbsticks. But if you want to play Game Boy games, the RG35XX Plus in this form factor is phenomenal. I highly recommend Ambernick. I think that they have the best variety. And more importantly, some of these are going to be less than $100. And I know a lot of people don't want to spend over $100. Personally, I think the coolest one that they have currently is this one. It's the RG35X XX SP. It looks like a Game Boy Advance SP. You can play up to PS1 pretty well. Some Dreamcast and 64 and PSP. Not a whole lot, but some of them. And it does it pretty all right. But what's nice about this is it has Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, HDMI out. I think it's like micro HDMI or mini HDMI. So you'll have to get like a cable for it or an adapter. to regular HDMI, but you can display it on a TV, and again, it looks like a Game Boy Advance SP. And if you want a cheaper GBA, go with this. I mean, this is just a phenomenal device. Overall, I highly recommend Ambernick. Okay, so the next handheld I'm going to be talking about is one of the most recommended handhelds on YouTube, and probably one of the most beloved, and that's the Miyoo Mini Plus. This thing is fantastic. Now, I will say be careful when buying these off of like AliExpress. Same thing with one of the other options here we're going to be covering here in a second. But for something that you can usually get about 60 bucks or less, this is fantastic. Has phenomenal controls, a great community, and really you can get this or the regular Miyoo Mini, which is a decent bit smaller than this, and these are both really good portable options here. Definitely great options, and a lot of people I know like these more than some of the top end handhelds that I'll be covering later on in this video. Again, Tech Dweeb here, this guy, his favorite thing of all time is the regular Miyoo Mini. Okay, so like it is a very good system. Am I going to recommend this to everybody though? No, but I would recommend this to the majority of people. If you had to put like a gun to my head and say which one I recommend for just a good all-arounder, again, it's hard for me to really say this is the best for everybody, because there is no such thing as the best for everybody when it comes to this genre. Plain and simple, you're gonna want to, you know, have something that fits your play style or what you desire. If you want to play something like GameCube, this ain't gonna do it. All right, you need to spend a little bit more money. But if you want to play like GBA games, Game Boy Color games, I think this also plays some PS1, not as much. It's not as powerful as some of the other systems, like again the Ambernick systems. This is probably I think actually the weakest device we're going to be covering here, but it is also the most well built, or at least one of the most well built devices, I should say, for under 100 bucks. And again, it has a great community. Honestly, really good handheld. Absolutely recommend it. Again, why you should do your own research, but phenomenal handheld. Highly recommend. Okay, before we go ahead and jump into some of these more expensive handhelds, I want to talk about two other handhelds and companies that I recommend, and it's hard to talk about one without the other here. The first company I want to talk about here is Powkiddy. These are the guys that made that, like, I think I closed the tab here, that made the pocket console like thing. This is the company that actually develops these. So if you've seen this system here on TikTok before, and same thing with this here on TikTok before, these are the actual manufacturers here. And Powkiddy is a pretty solid option, I would say. I personally don't really go with Powkiddy devices myself because there are better options out there, in my opinion. I think Ambernick is just a better overall option, but these aren't bad, you know what I mean? I mean, you can find them for around the same price, and you can also buy the Miyoo Mini from, or Miyoo Mini Plus from Powkiddy, and I think it's actually one of the more, you know, reputable sites you can purchase this from. But again, we just talked about the Miyoo Mini. But to me, you have the devices like the RGB20 SX here. You have the original one. You've got the RGB30. And they have a bunch of other stuff too, like the RGB10 3 Max. I think this one can actually play a decent bit of PS2 and GameCube. I don't think it can play everything, but it can play some of it. You also have the Powkiddy V10, which is a wide boy. This boy is... I don't even have this pulled up. Oh my god. This boy is wide here. I completely did not realize I had this didn't have this pulled up. My bad. This was RGB 10 Max 3. This one can play, as I said, some light PS2 and GameCube. This is the RGB 20S, the RGB 30, and the V10. As I said, this is a chunky boy. This boy, wide, big boy. All right, but again, they make pretty good handhelds. I want to really go with some of these handhelds, but if you can find them cheaper, you know, and on sale, they're nice devices, you know what I mean? I'm not going to complain. Who would I recommend this for? Honestly, for somebody that doesn't want to get something as expensive as an Ambernick, but doesn't want to go as cheap as something like our next option we're going to be talking about here. Again, I really like their devices and stuff that they have here. And again, like the RGB 10 Max 3, for example, is one of the cheaper options if you want to play GameCube and PS2 somewhat. But again, I would go with other companies, but a solid company overall. But we can't talk about these guys without mentioning the best budget handheld. This is actually the one I actually am getting because of how cheap it is. And plain and simple, that is the RGB, or not RGB, the R36S. This is a clone of the RGB 20S. This is a clone console, okay? But it is just as powerful, all right, as that console is, but cheaper, significantly so. It's on sale right now. You can usually find it around 40 bucks, but for $23 right now on AliExpress, this is a fucking steal. I'm going with this system because one, it has a pretty decent display, especially for the cheap price that it has. It's just the best bang for buck handheld. I love this handheld. This is probably the best one for a gift. If you want to get somebody a gift, this is it. If you want to get a gift for somebody, this is it. I can order multiple of these, okay? And again, they won't be too bad. To me, I absolutely love the device here, and it's the one that I'm personally going to go with just because of its price, you know what I mean? I haven't gotten into these retro handhelds for a while. Personally, I'm going to go with that because it's the cheapest option, the easiest barrier to entry to see if I really am going to use one of these. Maybe I'll upgrade later on, but that's the one I'm getting. But again, best budget pick goes to this. All right, this is absolutely the budget king. If you want the best deal in retro emulation handhelds, go with this. You're losing some features. This doesn't have Wi-Fi or HDMI out or Bluetooth, no Wi-Fi. But it does come with games pre-installed a lot of the times. You're gonna make some sacrifices with the system. I'd recommend getting a proper SD card. You're gonna have to figure out some stuff with it. But again, for 40 bucks, you really can't complain that much. And right now it's on sale for $23. So if you're gonna buy handhelds for gifts, this is the one to go for. And this is the one I'm getting. Really good device. Now let's talk about the higher end handhelds. This is if you have money to spend, and plain and simple, Retroid is some of the best to do it, never do it. They have the best handhelds, in my opinion, that you can get for the money when it comes to just bang for buck performance. Well, besides the R36S, but the Retroid Pocket 5 is an OLED screen. I mean, it looks like a GameCube. Look at GC, literally GameCube. They have it in 16-bit, they have it in black, they have it in white here. That GameCube, oh my god, it looks so nice. It has an OLED screen. This plays GameCube, PS2, Wii fairly comfortably, and everything that came before it phenomenally upscaled. The Retro Pocket Mini is also great. They have it in Saturn orange, black. I really love this red here. And they also have it in the 16-bit as well. 16-bit looks good, but that red, ooh, man, that looks nice. But again, they have this here. Some of their older devices, this is the one I owned. When I said I owned one of these devices, I had a Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, okay? I ended up selling it to a friend because I had a problem paying bills, but I had it in this watermelon color, and it was really fun. Really good device, really like it. The Retroid Pocket 2S is kind of their budget pick, but for $99, if you want something that can play some PS2 and GameCube games, I'd get this one. It's also a lot more pocketable than some of the other systems. Recommend this for sure. They have a dock. I mean, they have a metal edition. Really, Retroid is definitely my pick for the above, like the more premium, I guess, price category. But there is one system I cannot deny, and that is plain and simple the Odin 2. They're expensive, they're pricey, and to be honest, at this amount of money, I'd recommend getting something like a Steam Deck, but they are really good. They are really good. They'll actually, the only ones that I've shown in this video that will play Nintendo Switch emulation. Okay, they have the Odin 2 Mini, which looks like a PS Vita, which is always sick. This is probably the only one that you can get that'll play Switch. And personally, it's a really good device. I'd recommend the Retroid Pocket though, just for bang for buck, because at $319 you're paying very big money for that. But again, really good devices. And overall, I love all these devices. If I had to pick one to go with, that would be the R36S, just for sheer bang for buck. But again, you can't go wrong with any of the ones I've shown in this video. Now, I know this video has been a long one, and I want to wrap this up by saying, if you guys have any questions or concerns, please leave them in the comments below. I know this was a long video, but I'm very glad I did make this video, and I want to say that all of these handhelds are going to be for different use cases. Please do your research, you know, watch these guys. Please watch these guys. Seriously, like, phenomenal YouTube channels, great videos. But overall, as I said, do your research on these, but these are amazing devices, the ones that I recommended. Again, just make sure you buy the right ones, make sure you don't buy a drop shipped one and whatnot. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer. If not, if I don't have an exact answer, I'll try to link a video or point you in the right direction. As I said, do your research, man. These guys know their shit. Absolutely know their shit. But again, this video has been long enough. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. My name is Armored Rose. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.